All right. We are live and on the air, so they say, on the air with Tony Curado, and we're here today for Tony's Challenge 23. And we were just talking about how high some people must be in Colorado right now as they send New England packing, right?
Go Denver.
Yeah, there you
Peace out,
go.
Brady.
That's right. Hey, man, you know what? Karma's a bitch, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm sure that, like I said before we started, I'm sure he'll say it was the thin air or his balls were too small or something. I don't know. Something. But we're here. We're doing Challenge 23 and Sphere 2 in Travel Obscura, and we take a look at Tony's website. Tony's been working hard in making posts, which is really what we're going to focus on today. And we're also going to help Tony with some other things he's been asking about. And the main purpose, though, of this very first critique is really just to talk about posts. And that's the important thing. And beyond that, website design and all that kind of stuff are things that we'll talk about either on the air or off the air, depending on what Tony wants to do. This is really not so much a critique as it is just kind of like let's catch up, because we've been kind of all working, right? And you're trying to move.
Yeah, I'm moving in with a buddy at the end of the week. So, yep.
Cool. Somebody will take care of your laundry for you, right? So you don't have to do that.
No, I don't think so.
Damn it.
But at least I've got a washer and dryer in the apartment, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah, cutting that trip out is a good thing. All right, man. So the very first thing we need to do is share your website. So let's jump over there. I'm going to get that shared. You let me know if you can see it. Now, I'm trying to reduce the size of my screens down so that is it going to give me? Yeah. Okay. So I hope this works. Should work because it's Chrome. It should work with everything. Right? Okay, so you're seeing just your website right now. I got like 16 windows open right now, but we're going to look at 16 different things. So,
all right.
So you've been posting. I know it's been tough. We talked a little bit about subject matter, right? And kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about, which is a great point that you brought up to me perfectly. I don't know how this stuff works out every time. You brought this up just before your critique, and it's a great subject to talk about and to pass on to everybody else. So you got your website going, and the goal really was for this level Challenge 22. Sorry, I keep going back to that old level thing. Challenge 22 was really just to do a post every 2 to 3 days, which is kind of difficult for some of us folks that have seasons, right, where we sometimes can't get out. So Tony said to me, is like, dude, man, I can't, I'm like stuck and I'm just not working. It's not coming out of me and I don't have anything. I know there's some other folks in the cohort that are going through the same thing. So listen, go back through your catalog of photos and go through those and write some stories from some older photo sets that you have. And I said that to Tony, and Tony's like, wow, man, I totally had this other thing I can work on too, and I didn't even think about it, right? So yeah, I mean, there's the only timeline is really in your head. I mean, I know we like want to post our photos and we keep getting better, and we only want to post the good stuff and all that kind of stuff, which is good, and it's good to have that quality in there, but don't be afraid to call up some other photos, maybe reprocess them with a new eye, and you only need 2 or 3 photos. You don't need like 40 photos, right? Because we've talked about this. So yeah, use those old stories for your downtime. And then as you build, as you go, you're going to start building a backlog, or what I like to call bullets in the chamber, right? You're going to have these stories that you're going to go out and you're going to do a shoot and you're going to get 5 or 6 stories out of that, not just one. And you're going to start thinking like that too when you go out. You're going to think, oh, this location's a story. Now I'm going to drive 10 miles over here and this location is going to be a brand new story, and so on. And you can kind of make those little capsules out of that and kind of store them and then release them as you go. Now, one of the other things I want to talk about too, I want to give to you guys that I haven't done yet, is an editorial calendar. Danielle's been using this, and for those of you who don't know, if you haven't met her, Danielle's my girlfriend, and she started a blog here about the time we started all this other stuff. with Sphere 2 and all these folks. But Danielle isn't part of the Arcanum, and I've been kind of helping her because, well, she's my girlfriend, so she doesn't have to be part of the Arcanum to get that. So she just finished post 100 in her blog, and she works a full-time job, more than a full-time job. Tony, you know how long she works, so a day. So so if she can do it, and she paints too, so she doesn't just go take photos like we do. She paints stuff, which takes forever. So this editorial calendar thing has helped her out quite a bit, where she can plan stories around dates and locations and things like that, and then fill in the blanks with other stories. And then you kind of knock these off on the calendar, and then you post them to your WordPress as you can with preloaded dates, so they automatically release on their own, so you don't have to do it. So you could take a week off and go shoot someplace, and your robot WordPress website is working on its own, posting things and getting it out to your social networks and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to share that probably with you guys. I know we're doing another hangout later tonight, and I'll probably share that with the group and make it available to everybody so you all can check that out. It's really cool. So Tony, what kind of things have you faced as far as getting these posts out every, let's say 3 days to be safe?
Yeah, I think it's just I had, kind of like what we talked about. I had content, so it was, it was easier kind of going into the holidays, and I started running out of stuff because I was I went back to Jersey for the holidays and stuff. So kind of being away, that time kind of took up some of the stuff I had. So just trying to get going again has been tough. It's definitely winter here in Colorado, so it kind of shrinks your, where you can go and stuff like that. But I started getting back on it and just traveling around and finding different things to shoot and stuff. So, I think that's just getting back on the horse and pushing forward with it, and I kind of did a couple posts that were outside of, travel photography and stuff like that to kind of just get back into it and
Sure.
Keep pushing myself. So,
yeah, that's good. Excuse me. Yeah. You're a photographer, and we're really focusing on travel, but there's also, many other things you can write about. You can write about your equipment. You can, write about what you shot when you were home. I mean, sometimes a break from the travel photography is welcomed in a travel blog like this. People like to see that sort of thing. See that you're just like you're every other person, right? You're like every other person, and you have your family and all that kind of stuff going on. And I see you did a story for your brother, which is awesome here. And I think that's key to include that sort of stuff. It's still travel though. You're still traveling back home, and you're saying that to me like I had the family stuff, and I'm thinking, dude. Big Italian family, travel back east from Colorado. There's got to be a story in that. There's got to be 35 stories in that, at least. Probably none you can share though, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, man. I think you're on it. I think you'll be okay. It takes time. The whole exercise, this 2 to 3 posted, this whole exercise is to push this limit and find out, what do we have to do in order to accomplish this as content providers? And I know that one of your goals, and I just invited someone new into the cohort, and she also has the same goals as you do. So I'm going to kind of pair you guys up, and that's Connie McLaren, who's just came in. She wants to build her website and her blog, and then from that, she wants to do tours and basically bring other photographers in and show them these cool locations and take them out there. So I think that, you're on the right track. I would not start that yet. I think you've got a good start to your stories and all that kind of stuff to present that. And I think that, for her, it's the same way. She needs to build her blog and get that going. Cart before the horse sort of thing. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that you have a presence first. So that's the next thing I want to talk about. I went through your stories, and I love, let's talk a little bit about the design and some things that I like about the design. I love this beautiful photo that you've got right up top, man. It's just, I've loved this photo since I've seen it the first time since you took it and posted it. It's gorgeous. I think it works really well. I think it's a little small on the small side. I know it may look big on a smaller screen, but most screens today are generally, most people are viewing on 1080p screens. So that's you're going to stretch it out to 1080p, and that's 1920 by 1080 is your format. So be aware of that's going to be that big. And most folks are viewing on at least, I will say, at least 24-inch diagonal screens. Now you're going to have your mobile folks, and you're going to have your folks with laptops, which are going to be a little smaller, and that's okay too. But the tricky thing about websites is you really got to kind of work for everybody, sort of thing. Now, I did some playing around with your site. Your site is responsive, so that's awesome. It does do the proper things when we shrink it down. This is very important. So that works really well. And it menus up nice, which is always good. Let's get back to the right size there. And I like the layout's really simple. One of the things that I question that I don't like about it is you got kind of like the social things up here. And I kind of went and did a little back research on the theme that you're using, which is really designed for a magazine, more so than a photographer. And so up here we have like find us on Facebook, find us on Google Plus. I don't know if the find us thing really works, but I will say that, you've got your social bar down here. I'd like to see more social outreach from you than just these few sites. And we'll talk about getting you involved and why it's important for some of the other things when we get done here. But, you've got it in two places. I think it would probably be better off if we made this more visible down here in the sidebar and maybe eliminated these guys. Now, I don't know if that's possible to do with this theme or not, but that's a suggestion that I'm just going to put it out there to you.
I overall, take that out.
I'm just throwing stuff out here. So your format's better now. You were in a horizontal format. You're more in a grid format. I would consider, this is just a little consideration, I would consider moving this sidebar out of your front page. So it's right here in front, and unfortunately it's reducing the width of what you can get here as far as your stories go. I think the version I saw of this was 3 wide at top, and then it had another section. I think you can build other sections in the box format, and I'd probably put some of this stuff in there, and then your footer down here at the bottom. Then when you go to a story, then you can bring your sidebar into play at that point in time. With your sponsors and because here's the natural flow of things. I see something, I see this whole book of stories. You're going to cover a bunch of different folks. You got a bunch of different things going on, different styles, different photos. But look here, you've got like kind of 3 like things right here in a row. They're kind of like you've got the waterfall thing going on. And then we get down here and we've got something different. See, this is down the page. And believe it or not, that's way too difficult for 90% of the folks who view your website to go see. So if you put this in a 3x format, you could at least get 6 or 9 stories peeking on your front page.
Gotcha.
Right where where they're going to start looking for stories, they'll see these 3 or 9. And then when they click on the story and they open it up to look at it, they're going to see that sidebar here, and they're going to say, man, I like that story. Oh, you know what? I can subscribe to this website. I think I'm going to do that. But when I go here, I only get your Facebook like page, which I already like. So there's really nothing for me to do here. So think about that. Think about moving your sidebar to this part and off the front page. If it was a wider format or responsive to a full screen format, I'd say leave your sidebar in there, because then you're going to get 3 wide and you're still going to have your sidebar space for that. But in this theme, I think going 3 wide is the only way for your front to get enough exposure for your stories. Your stories are key, right? That's the number one thing here that's going to draw them in. And so one of the things I talk about with a lot of the apprentices is we're not building the better mousetrap here. We're not concerned with that right now. What we're concerned with is creating consistent quality content. And I don't care if your theme is just nothing but a post on it for, a grid of posts so I can just see posts. Because the main thing here is that no matter what your design is, no matter how fancy it is, if the content isn't there, then people just aren't going to stay and get into your stuff, right? And you've got beautiful work and you've got very creative. I love your stories. I love your angle and approach. And I think that the problem is that the design is kind of stopping folks from enjoying that. And
Okay.
I think that reflects heavily in your hits, because I saw you changed your format, and you got a pretty good rash of hits, right, on your brother's story. That
Yes.
got quite a bit of, yeah. So I want to talk about your social side of it too, because I know you're struggling a little bit there. I want to go look at that as well. But good job on the post. Keep that going. I think those small changes are all that is really needed here. I know you were worried about, like, I don't know, I can't find a theme I want. I wouldn't worry about that right now, Tony.
And normally I'm not. I mean, I guess I just kind of went down the theme rabbit hole the other day because I wanted to possibly make a change, and it just didn't work out for me.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm supposed to say this. So have you thought about changing the color of your website?
So poor Lisa.
Lisa Speakman. I don't know. She's the one who brought it up originally. And I'm like, sure, just change it and then tell me what you want and I'll make the changes for you. And then when the critique came around, I sort of said, well, you haven't changed the colors yet. Well, my mistake. Poor Lisa spent days and days. I think she's still there. I don't know. I haven't seen her that much, so I'm assuming she's still there. But great stories here, man. I would really hit up your fellow apprentices in the chat. I know we chat about a lot of things, but listen, fellow apprentices, you're out there watching, 6 of you right now. I want you to go to Tony's website and subscribe. What's wrong with you people? Come on. So, we all need to subscribe to each other and support.
I'm pretty sure I have more than one other subscriber, so I'm not really sure why that's not working.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. But if you're not subscribed, so just keep in mind that when you subscribe, it's a 2-step process. You're going to get an email, and you have to click on that email and verify that you want to be subscribed. So if you're just subscribing and you're not doing anything after that, you're not really subscribed. So
that's probably.
Yes. So get in there, subscribe to Tony's website, doggone you. It's easy to find. It's right on his front page, and he's going to hide that in a little bit. But he's not going to hide it because I'm going to give him some other ideas where you can put it on the menu. I think it's important to have a contact on here for you, Tony. You don't have that right now. I think you need a contact page. And on your contact page, you can put your subscribe on there. Also, feel free to put it on your About Tony page as well. It's a short code, and if you don't have it, I'll give it to you. It's not usually apparent, but if you go to the Jetpack plugin how-to page from the plugins page, so if you go, let me just show you guys because I know other people are watching this. But if you go to your plugins, excuse me, and then in the plugins, all of these plugins have this view details thing on them. If you view the details, it brings up this nice panel. And on the panel, you can usually find out information about the plugin itself. And you'll find this key link over here, this plugin homepage. And if you go there, you can find like how to implement this into your post or any page at all. And it'll tell you on there. There's a little short code that you put in your post, and it automatically puts a little subscribe box there for you. So pretty easy to do. I don't know. It's probably right here, right somewhere. I think it's on their. I think it's on their page is where I found it. If you guys can't find it, you let me know and I'll dig it up for you guys. But it works really well. You just insert it into the post someplace, and it'll put a little box, and people can subscribe. So
gotcha.
All right. So the other thing I want to talk about is I see you doing a lot of hard work, and one thing I've learned about you just in hanging out with you. The couple times that I have is I know that you're not afraid of hard work. Unfortunately, when I went and looked at your hard work, I'm seeing some misdirected hard work, and I think you're working too hard for what your return is, because I'm not seeing a lot of folks clicking on your stuff and liking and plussing and doing all that kind of stuff. So I went over to your Facebook page. So if you don't mind, since this is private, I'm going to call up your Facebook page here. Hold on one second. If I can find that window. Let's see. Looks like that. All right. You should see Facebook.
Yep.
Is that working? Okay. All right. So you have a photography page, and you have your regular Tony Curado page, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the business pages for Facebook are a nice idea, and you can continue to post to them all you want. But if you see return from them, please let me know, because Facebook actively blocks you from getting any type of following or any type of hits or views in the news feed. And the reason why they do this is because there's a business model behind Facebook where they want businesses to pay for exposure. So if we don't allow you to have exposure, you will pay for it. Well, the problem with that is that Facebook a while ago was discovered that when people paid for their promo and all this stuff, that all of that was going out to click farms, and basically the people who don't even care about your stuff were clicking on your stuff and liking it, but that's all they're doing. And it's like this fake thing. Like, they're not really generating business, right? They have this bunch of people, in some other country that don't care about your stuff. All they care about is getting paid by Facebook to click likes on your page and then go away.
Right.
So they're not sharing. They don't have big networks. And so, yeah. So here's the key to Facebook. Okay, the key to Facebook is getting people to share your work and like your work on your normal page, on your Tony Curado page, because that's on your profile page, by the way.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, because that will actually get out to everybody unless they block you. So that's, if somebody doesn't like what you're doing, they'll block you. But I mean, Facebook business pages start right out. You cannot do anything with them. And let me show you what happens when people like your page. So I go and like your page. I don't see anything from you. I'm like, why don't I see anything from True Vision Photography? I liked it, right? Well, after you like the page, if you hover over the like button, you see that the notifications are on none. And you see posts in the news feed are also like set to whatever. And you have to change that as the person liking the page in order to see anything. And most people don't. They like the page and they go.
Right.
And if you're on mobile, you don't see this at all.
Right.
So good luck. So it's part of Facebook's business model. If you put out a post and a million people put out a post and tell people how to do this, Facebook will change it so that people can't do it, because that's what they do. And for a while, every time Facebook updated its mobile app, they would automatically remove your favorite page from everybody's news feed. It was annoying as all heck. So I have a page. I have a photographer's page, and I post to it sometimes. But really, the engagement comes from your personal page. And they'll tell you, well, you're not supposed to run your business on your personal page. But yeah, okay, whatever. Whatever. It's my interest. It's not my business. So definitely make sure that you are posting first to your personal page and then sharing from there to your business page. If you do it the other way around, you're still not going to get seen. And that's the problem with that. I went through and tried to find some of your posts, and the only ones that I can find from you are the ones that you post from your personal page. So those are the only ones that I can find. All right. So we need to get your engagement up on Facebook as well. And what I'm not seeing on Facebook are hashtags that have to do with True Vision Photography. So remember, when we hashtag, it isn't always about exactly what's in the story. It's what audience that we want to bring there. So when you're hashtagging, you should always, always, always hashtag travel, hashtag photography. Those are two huge things. And then after that, you can hashtag the state, which is always good. If you're in a national park, you want to you want to tag the national park or say that's where your location is at. That's always important. Also, anytime you post any story about an area that's identifiable that has a name, I think that's all the time, right?
I
You
got
should,
you.
right. You should hunt them down on Facebook and post it on their page.
Right.
Dude, your work is awesome. If I am like part of the Durango area or part of Colorado, Colorado doesn't want that photo on your website, on your webpage. They don't want that. They must want that.
Right.
Who doesn't look at that and go, damn, I want to be there? So you got to reach out, though. They're not going to come and find you. Those days are long gone because there's a million people who are already doing what I just told you to do.
Right, of course.
So you got to get in the mix, though, because your work is outstanding. It's going to stand out. And that's the thing. Unless you put them in those key locations, though, they're not going to come to you. So make sure that you're tagging your Facebook with always with travel, always with photography. That's what Tony Curado is known for, travel photography, right? And then the location, you can tag things like, I don't know, if there's like a throwback Thursday, that kind of stuff. That's up to you, right? If you want in on that sort of thing. I think that's more, I like that kind of stuff like that. That's more personal, like an old picture of yourself, kind of. That's your human interest part of what you do. But I think, yeah, and I've talked about this before. I think an 80, 10-10 or a 70-20-10 split of 70% your own material. And don't be afraid to rotate your material. You've got a lot of stories. Don't be afraid to start rotating them through your Facebook page or your other networks, because once they're down the feed, if half of the people, I'm looking at your page and I see 377 quote unquote friends, and I'm calling you all out because I'll do this. You can show them all this video if you want. If your 377 quote unquote friends can't like your photos and your stories, I'd call them up. I'd call them up and say, hey, what's going on, man? Can you support me? Because I'd appreciate it. It's just a click a like, You'll click a like on a melted snowman photo with a funny saying on it. I worked really hard on this photo. Click on that thing. So, and it's okay too, dude. Don't be afraid to post in there. Hey, if you guys like this story, please share it with your friends and family. And because sharing is caring. It's getting people to share that's important, right?
Right. Yeah.
It takes a while, but people will do it. Your friends and family, call on them. This is your passion. This is what you want to do. Get them to help you do it. So we want you to get hashtags. I want you to start networking and getting some of these other folks. Even think, and when you do the 70-20-10, the 20%, I want to get back to that. The 20% is posting other people in your networks stuff that you like. Now, you don't have to be obligated, and I'm the first to say this, and I'll say this I don't post anything I don't like. So if I post it, I like it. Okay. So when everybody's like, why didn't you post my stuff? Well, I didn't post it because it didn't strike that chord with me. And the more I post things, the more finicky I get about what I post. So that's, if I feel it's worthy of posting, I will repost it for you. And then the other 10% is the human interest part of it. That's stuff that's, this is, I hung out with my brother, you picture your brother and you or whatever. That's the other 10%. Funny stuff if you got a funny story or something. And always, like I said, I always try to keep it non-political, non-religious, that sort of stuff. Just keep it lighthearted. It's always good to think photography, coffee. That's always good. Yeah. Football, beer, the things that are pretty innocuous out there that aren't going to bother anybody. So if you keep that kind of split going, what that does for you is that 20% is going to return in spades the amount of people that will come back to you and they'll post your stuff because people remember that you sharing somebody else's stuff.
Right.
Lisa is awesome for that. You share anything of Lisa's, you're guaranteed 5 shares from her. She's just all over it, man. So to a point of faulting where she posts too much of other people's stuff, and we need to see more of her stuff. But still, Still, that's the way that this network of Travel Obscura folks, I'm calling on all of them. We all need to be like this. We all need to share each other's work. That's our strength in numbers. And that just is like a wave. In Google Plus, they call it ripples, because that's what happens. One person posts to their network, and then there's probably, I'm sure there's 500 people in my network that aren't in yours. So if I post, then you're going to get that exposure, right? So you keep putting out quality content and you do that formula, and you're going to see returns, and you're going to start seeing more and more travel to your website. Lisa can tell you it works. It's been working for her, and she finally got a reblog, and that helped a lot as well. So make sure you're hitting on that. I also went over to, you're going to kill me, man. I also went over to,
That's all right, man.
I also went to your Google Plus page.
All right.
So I'm seeing a ton of your Google Plus posts here, and I'm seeing that you're putting your website URL. That's awesome. Please put in there to visit my website or something. Don't just put the link.
Okay.
Because you want to make sure that people know absolutely that this is your work.
Okay.
And it's from you. So a lot of times when I see this, I think Tony reposted, not me personally, but when I see posts like this where it's just a link, it doesn't mean it's your work.
Gotcha.
Because on these websites, people just can take anything and repost it. And a lot of times they don't give credit. So, but when they do, they just put a name or a website, and you don't know, right? So make sure you know that this is you and your work, because the True Vision photos and Tony Curado, we want to make sure that people get used to those two things going together, because they're not going to know that unless you tell them at first. So
Gotcha.
Get that rolling. And then, like, I'm just going to take this post for instance. So you got Colorado waterfall photography. So awesome on Colorado, awesome on waterfall, awesome on photography, no travel. Travel is the #1 hashtag in the inner world, all over the place. It's the #1 hashtag. Make sure you have that in every single post anywhere. Travel. Okay. For sure, man. Because that's down the road, that's what you're going to do, right? You want to lead people on some of these tours, right? Yeah. So you want to pick up on that travel market for sure. So make sure you get that in there. The other thing that I saw that you did a little bit of and then kind of fell off on here was we had talked about the groups to share with, and I'm looking, let's see, where did I find that? Well, see, I haven't seen them in a while. So
I was going to say, I think I only did it like once or twice. So
yes,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but like, so here you've got the hashtag 10,000 photographers. This needs to be a plus mention, and you have to actually write this post. They will, Google Plus does not allow you to actually to plus in a post that goes out from like NextScripts or goes out from a share from your website. You literally have to go to Google Plus and actually plus 10,000 photographers to get it to mention to their group. So I wanted to tell you that because I saw several of these you had done to like, it was way back here, but that's why it didn't work for you. That's why you didn't get anybody, is because you plus them. Now with that, I'm going to say, abandon your personal page here on Google Plus. Now, normally you'd be like, what? I don't really, because I have followers and I have a lot of views. So I don't want you to abandon it completely, but what I want you to post to is this right here, to collections.
Okay.
Because collections are an automatic follow when you follow somebody else. So when you follow somebody, they automatically are added to your following on your collections. Okay. So I really want to see you create a collection here that's True Vision photography. Okay. So that it's True Vision travel photography, something that's got the word travel in it. Please have that in there.
Gotcha.
Right. And I think that if you do that and you start sharing to that, and you, in those shares in the collections, please plus those 10,000 promote photography, plus them. And you have to do these posts by hand right now. NextScripts is working on this, but it's not available yet. Do it. It's worth it. Well worth it. You're going to hit all 109 of your followers. They're going to see all of that in their feed. It is the best reach of Google Plus anywhere. And the reason I say that is because with photos like yours, I really think that you're going to get featured by Google Plus. Okay. I think that's going to happen. I like the fact here across your website. I know you can't see this because I only have one window open. Let me add this to this tab. That popped it. I like that. So you're going with this. I like this orange color. It matches well with the sunset. I think it really represents kind of the red rocks and the sunsets and all that kind of stuff that you have photos and that you take photos of and visit. And if you look over on here, your collections are that color too. I would keep promoting that color along with your nice image that you have here for your cover photo. Okay, you've got those all matching across your website and everything, which is what I told you to do, and that's perfect. I think I would make sure that this this matches that as well. So it's just make it a no-brainer for folks that you kind of give them the breadcrumbs to follow. And then what you're going to see, I think you're going to see when you start doing the collections and posting to the plus 10,000, the 10,000 photographers HQSP promotion. Best top photographer promotion and promote photography. Those 4, if you plus mention those, you put in a hashtag of travel, a hashtag of photography, and then the place where you're taking the photo, or if it's a waterfall, obviously hashtag waterfall because they're real popular. I think if you do that on a consistent basis with collections, you're going to see this number of followers go up rapidly.
All right.
Okay. I'm about to launch a really big campaign for travelobscura.com, where I am going to basically promote all of you guys' websites in a continual post. We're building a huge following, and I say we're because you guys aren't in there yet, but you will be. But right now, we're on the front page of Google with Travel Obscura, and it is gaining 1,000 people like every 2 days. Wow. So we have this giant network that's building a beautiful network. It's awesome. And you guys are all going to be part of that. Once these critiques are done, this is all part of the rest of the sphere. But you're going to reap rewards by getting followers from that as well. Cool. So hashtags, dude, make sure they match. And the other thing I'm going to tell you too is if you really want to kick G Plus into overdrive, get out there and seek out some other groups and other collections that you may be able to post to get your stuff seen. I wanted to highlight Teresa. She gets huge numbers on Google Plus. She does a great job. And if you look at that list of people she posts to, dude. It's crazy. But here's promote photography. Here's 10,000 photographers. She's doing the black and white and the monochrome and all that kind of stuff. It's okay to do this because Google picks up on this on when you post, and the evidence is what she's getting for her post: 117 plus, 134, 120, 149. So she's seeing those returns in doing that. So it's okay to do that, and her blog is really doing super well right now. So if there's questions about where she's putting her stuff in the networks, talk to Teresa because it's working for her and working well. So feel free to hit her up and ask her about that stuff. So she might have some insights. All right. So that's all I basically have. I recorded all that. This is part of your level 24. We're going to go through and I'm going to make a list for you of, this is called Border Patrol, which is lining all that stuff up with the hashtags and your, some of the other things I want to point out to you, I'm going to do off air because they're just little things that'll be part of your level 24. It's not really anything that's going to pertain to anybody else. So what questions do you have that kind of maybe you've been sitting on while you've been doing all this that I can answer for you? Anything at all?
Well, I have a question about the Google Plus stuff. Do you think it's worth going back to the past posts and like does putting stuff in there help?
Nope.
No. Okay.
No, because it's a stream.
Posted. Right?
Yeah, it's a streaming system. So yeah, it goes by post date. So you miss that opportunity if you don't get them in there that day. Those folks who run those groups will never see them. They're so far down the list. Right, but I think that your photos that pop, that cover photo, dude, is gonna get some notoriety on those groups. I mean, it's just a beautiful photo. And I know Mr. Skriner, who runs the, you can add him up on Facebook too. He does a lot of stuff on Facebook. He runs the 10,000 photographers thing, and he really promotes the heck out of photos like this. So I think he would really pick up on that. You can tag him as well, or not tag him, but plus mention. Google's all about plus mentioning. Tags are okay for when people search, but that plus mention thing is the thing that's going to build this number right here, the followers, which is what you want to do.
Gotcha.
So, all right. Anything else?
No, that's about it. I mean, the other theme I was briefly working in, I had a lot of questions, but like I said, I gave up on it. So, and I'm actually happier with this with some of the tweaks that I did. So,
yeah, I think that I got a few more suggestions for you that'll kind of that's the border patrol thing, that basically will finish it off for you. But it's different from what everybody else is using, and that's okay. The main thing the reason why we use the other theme so much is just simply because I've got so much experience with it, and it is something that's working. And I'm really trying to let people know it's not really about the theme itself and how pretty it is. We all want our photos to be big, and we want, we would all love a real cool slideshow where all the photos flew in and all this stuff. That's awesome. But to people coming to your website, they really don't. That isn't, they'll come and look at it and then leave and never come back. And what we're trying to do is build something that people come back to all the time. Right. So cool. All right. I'm going to end the broadcast. I think we got everything we need there for your next level. And then I'll talk to you really briefly about this other stuff. So I'm going to unshare my screen here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, by the way. See somebody just tuned in late. You're going to have to rewind now. We're done. So it's all right. We sent New England packing, and we got Tony's website all taken care of. So, all right. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to stop the broadcast. Don't go anywhere, Tony.